Fantastic. So, which brings me to the next question, Srikanth, where many of the brands, uh, uh, by the virtue that they did digital marketing, they sit on a lot of first-party data, right? And
Yeah.
A platform like yours, is, I think, extremely ripe, okay, for this real world experience, as you call it. Because if I was a retailer or if I was a bank, okay, I have my first party data, and probably you can do custom audience, okay, far more effectively and in a valuable manner. Because if you tell me I'm in that mall, and if you tell me that I'm near that area, and actually you can show me an experience, and therefore drive walk-ins and catchments, and this is a fantastic opportunity. And do people, are they able to connect the way I'm talking? That's very important.
Yeah. So, I mean, you touched upon what I see as the future waves, Swami. I mean, whatever we have talked about today is here now. There's adoption, etc. And you asked a question on the open internet, which I kind of did not answer effectively. And I think it is linked back to what you talked about as the first party data, right? So if we take a step back and we looked at what the open internet was, it was open data that was available, and the sites were also kind of
Correct.
fragmented and aggregated. But I think with privacy norms and the cookie crumbling and many other things, the open internet in terms of data richness has started coming down. And then you've got the walled gardens who are not reporting perhaps as much as we would like to see in terms of how the data is being built and used in these various campaigns. So then you're left with not much of a choice. And I think that's where the first party data streams will come into play and clean rooms will come into play. And suddenly you would start seeing, I mean, like we have seen today, besides the Facebook Trade Desk, Google, you've suddenly got players like Amazon who have come into the retail media. And then you've got Walmart, which has pulled together their retail assets. So you've got two different types of retailers. You've got a pure digital first retailer, and then you've got a physical retailer who's also gone digital. And I think those guys are going to come in with an element of first party data, which is not restricted to first party media. And that's where it opens up the open internet, and it opens up even the digital out of home. Because even we have these conversations at various levels, right? I mean, I go into a bank or even into, let's say, clients like Putpanda, and I say, listen, you know the geographical concentration of your clients, and you know the geographical concentration of where they are ordering from. Now, can we figure out whether the media plans in terms of you reaching the audiences have, that in mind? With a rideshare company, we literally zoned out click of apps of a rideshare company A versus B across 50 market centers, and we told them 30 you're done. I mean, you're way behind the other. Now, what do you want to do? Do you want to fight to retain your locations current where you are leading, or do you want to go back and win back in some of these that you're losing the battle in? So I think it changes the game completely when such first party data, which doesn't have to be at a targeting level. That's the beauty of a
Correct.
digital out of home. My first party data is still used as at a summary aggregate level to determine which location at what point in time without intruding on the privacy of an individual. So I think a lot of first party data is going to come into play. And then you touched upon retailing, which is even one step beyond what we talk about as a first party data in the open internet. And I think the progression of the industry is going to go there. We are doing a pilot with a complete digital play who has harnessed so much of first party data. And they're saying, how do we use this, not just from an outer net, but use it from both an internet and an outer net? And should I be setting up even a small media arm of that business? So I was having a conversation with a CMO, and where he was saying that he can see in 10 years' time that they would form their own club. So a bank, a telco, a retailer, and whatever would say, let's start leveraging our first party data, not in a very, very privacy compliant manner, because it's not used necessarily with the exposure of the data that an open internet where trading of data happens. But here, it's done in a bit more privacy compliant and in a structured way. And if a retailer comes into picture and it's a product that is getting sold on the retail, then suddenly it can get direct influence on sales, which moves the needle again. So if you look at it, I think it's still got some waves beyond the automation. And that's where I said the first focus is the 40 billion that's getting automated. The next focus is put 40 and 400 together. And now let's start seeing how first party data of clients can shape how this whole loop and the journey can be really mapped. And that's where we'll hit upon sequencing as a concept in terms of how you sequence the client, right?
Fantastic.
And
Fantastic, Srikanth. I think brilliant explanation to how you use first party data.